can't tell you how much I've missed this. Fun fact, Berserk is amazing. Also fun fact, water is wet. I realize I am completely biased in my assessment, as I have pronounced my love for Berserk multiple times in the past. But I'm not a complete fanboy, because I am not yet caught up with the manga, like so many other manga, and apparently that's blasphemy. Either way, Berserk has returned to us in all of its majesty, and I'm here today to try and answer the question of whether or not this new adaptation is worth watching. But since my answer to this question should be apparent by now, I am going to state it here. Is Berserk 2016 worth watching? Well, if you're actually asking that question, then the answer is probably no. Ooh, I wonder if I threw anybody off with that. Because I would assume that if you are asking this question, it is only under two circumstances. One, you've never watched Berserk, in which case, don't watch this yet. Go watch the series from the 90s, and I guess technically you could also instead watch the remake films from the last several years, and that will technically do you fine. But I would recommend the original series over the films. The second possible circumstance is that you've seen the original Berserk and or the films, sure, and were somewhat indifferent towards them, but you are now wondering if this new series is going to be worth your time. Chances are that it won't be. I very much doubt this new Berserk series will have anything that strays too far from the original material and what everybody considers to be the essence of Berserk. If you've already found yourself indifferent to it, then this will probably have nothing in it that'll change your mind. At least I very much doubt that it will. Like, we've only seen a few episodes, so some weird bullshit could happen, but I doubt it. For everybody else, is Berserk 2016 worth watching? Well, you already know the answer to that, and that answer is yes. There is so much about the Berserk story that meshes so beautifully with the traditional fantasy. Berserk is a breath of fresh air, as well as, you know, an intake of blood, gore, and 3D animated tits. For me, what has made these first 4 episodes of the new Berserk so entertaining is really just being able to watch guts on screen again, and something that doesn't just rehash the story I already know from the 90s series. And yes, I know I keep bashing on the films, but there was just so much about those films that disappointed me. The 3D animation never sat well with me. There was the loss of Hirasawa as the main composer, though he did compose one of the piece, aria for the films, which is a brilliant song by all rights. And then there was the fact that everything in it, story-wise, I had already seen animated before. Thus, I've been partially blinded by nostalgia, I suppose. I haven't even watched the third film, and I probably should. Granted, it's just the eclipse, so I could probably recreate that by throwing a live chicken into a blender and then dumping out the remains on my lawn on a moonlit night, and then all that would be missing is the red light, the red moonlight. So I would just grab a film filter, hold it up to the moonlight, and then there would be this red light beaming down on the dead, mangled, and bloodied chicken corpse. Ta-da! Instant eclipse. Now, hopefully you didn't think that description was too graphic for your tastes, because if you did, you obviously have no idea what the eclipse is and should go watch Berserk. Now, back to this series. Well, the upsides to me are obvious. The return of Guts, the action, just the setting and the atmosphere that comes with Berserk. It's just addicting. This adaptation does have its downsides, particularly with the animation. I already mentioned before that I wasn't a fan of the 3D animated portions of the Berserk films, and that same style is brought back for this adaptation. It probably wouldn't be as constantly jarring to me if they actually, you know, stayed consistent with it, but while the majority of the series is animated in 3D, every once in a while we get some very well animated 2D cuts. And for me, that just continually highlights the differences between the two, and it doesn't help me when I'm trying to get over it. Ultimately, that's my main sticking point, but if I can manage to get over it, then everything will be fine. If I can't, well then my enjoyment of the series will surely suffer. On the plus side, though, I do think that the music is much better this time around, which I didn't expect considering it is the same composer from the films that I didn't like. Fun fact, though, he is the same guy that did the soundtrack to Evangelion. Take that as you will. I guess the final worry I have is that, well, I'm not used to having Berserk. For me, it's been years, but this has truly reawakened my addiction for the series, and I know it's not going to end well. Firstly, because Berserk is known for having bad endings, see the Eclipse, but also because the manga ain't finished yet. And when the manga's not finished, the anime is not going to finish the story for it. So when it's over, well, there probably won't be a definitive ending, and I'll just be in withdrawal again. Not looking forward to that, but it is inevitable, I suppose. I could just not watch the series and get the withdrawal over with now, but if I'm going to suffer regardless, then at least I want to be able to enjoy this series while I can. So what do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments. And while I can't stop you from spoiling anything from the Golden Age arc, please keep the spoilers to this series out of the comments for those, who haven't read the manga all the way. This is the part of the video where I would traditionally tell you that the series is unlicensed, but in this case it actually has been licensed by Crunchyroll. Oh yeah, and not just for streaming, which is what they usually do, but a full-on home video release. I'll be damned. Like, they also recently grabbed a bunch of shows from last season, and they're even dubbing Cabaneri of the Iron Fortress, so there's the potential that they will be dubbing Berserk as well. I will be giddy as a fanboy if they get the majority of the original cast back instead of just recasting everything, if for no other reason than the potential of a continuation to the famous Berserk dub bloopers.
Why would you do that with him?
'Cause I'm just a girl who can't say no, can't seem to say it at all.
That would be so perfect. So yes, Crunchyroll has the series licensed, and it is currently available on their website for legal streaming. Free trial for their premium service and all that in the description as per usual, which will be required to watch the series as it airs. Thank you for joining me on this first reaction. If you like this sort of thing, hit the like button to let me know. And if you have a suggestion for what you think I should talk about from this season next, let me know down in the comments, though chances are I'm going to be doing it anyway. And until next time, ladies, gentlemen, and others, stay frosty.